Perhaps one of the most versatile players in rugby league history, covering almost every position on the pitch and proving effective at scoring tries in all of them. He became the first black player ever to captain Great Britain and succeeded in the first ever Test win over Australia. He is without a peer at club or international level. He is Ellery Hanley. I bet you didn't bump into too many Ellerys when you were growing up. Where does the name come from?
Well, I recently asked my mother and she said it probably came from Ellery Queen, who was a detective many, many moons ago. And hence, that's why I got the name.
Very good. Did you ever take any stick for that name?
No, not at all. Probably I got the old Hillary and celery and Hillary Celery, that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, it was all light-humoured and it's been a great name for myself and for the family too as well.
Yeah. Where was home? Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Well, I first started growing up in Leeds, in a place called Scotthall, and went from there on to Foxwood School, St Matthew's School, my junior school and everything, and then took up rugby league and also playing soccer as well at the same time.
And which did you prefer at that stage?
Well, to be quite truthful, Eamon, I enjoyed both of them. They were both active sports, so were very, very different, as we all know. But I suppose in the end result, when I look back, I have no regrets as far as playing rugby league, just from simply the fact that it's given me everything in life. I've enjoyed it, and it's been able to let me see a number of things.
Cap. Edwards noticed launching Hanley from out wide. He's here again. He's going to go himself. He does. Oh, straight through 3 tackles.
Was it very part and parcel of growing up in Yorkshire? I mean, was it quite prevalent, rugby league?
Well, it wasn't at that particular time. It started to explode now. The game's just taken off in leaps and folds now. But one of the things as far as rugby league is concerned, it's one of the greatest games and it's probably watched by a very minority amount of people, which is probably a shame. But I think in the very near future it's going to continue to develop and grow as well, because it is such a spectacular sport.
It's great telly sport, great excitement, the speed with it. And
well, yeah, there's all that too as well, Eamon, but one of the great things about rugby league is that there's action, and it's action-packed through for the whole 80 minutes.
Yeah. Were you action-packed throughout your whole life? I remember you used to pick up these Man of Steel awards quite regularly. As a youngster, were you tough?
I wouldn't say that I was particularly tough, but one thing I knew for sure, though, Eamon, was that I was never going to be bullied by anybody, and whatever I did, I was going to do it to the best of my ability. I think that held me in good stead later on in life as far as playing sport was concerned, just from the fact that I knew what I wanted in life and I wanted to succeed in life, and I wanted to achieve those goals, and I just knew that I knew that I had to have a dedication, and I had to strive for those things and make some sacrifices too as well.
So what was your strength when it came to rugby league? I mean, people call you the complete player. You certainly were versatile. What do you think you brought to the game that others hadn't got?
I think, to be fair, really, to put that into context, really, I think really you've got to look at the sides I've played with. I was very privileged as a player, and I think one of the things I'll never ever forget, I've played with some tremendous footballers and some footballers who have never been recognised, but in my eyes who have been great footballers. They've been able to excel me, really. I've been beneficial from the fact that I played in a great side and great teams at club level, at international level, and I'll never forget those players.
Bradford Northern was where it started for you professionally. Do you remember your debut?
Yes, I do really. All I wanted to do when I got out in the football paddock was score tries and just enjoy the game.
Redfern, Hanley. He's still going, Ellery Hanley. Oh, and he's still going! And it's still going! Goodness gracious me, this could be the try of the season! What a try from Ellery Hanley!
One of the things I never ever thought about, with it being such a high collision sport, I never thought about being injured. I never thought I would get injured. I had a mental toughness about me that I would never accept defeat. It would never enter into my head, just from the fact that I wanted to be successful. And I had some sort of healing power within myself. I always thought to myself, I'm going to be fit for the next game that come the next weekend.
Now, I'm very interested in that. You genuinely believe that you were able to talk yourself into fitness?
Well, it wasn't a case of talking myself into fitness. I just had a belief about myself that no matter what happened to me on the football field, first of all, I wouldn't show any of the opposition that I was ever hurt. I grew in stature like that. And
oh, you see, that I would cry. It would be all over me. If somebody kicked me in the shin, that would be it.
Yeah, well,
you bit your lip.
I think that's one of the things, what's great about the human beings, really. We're all different and we're all built up differently, and we all have different tolerances towards pain. And obviously I suffered pain during the course of my period of time on the football field as well.
Yeah.
But one of the things I tried to make sure happened on the football field was that nobody ever saw that pain. I just got up, rubbed myself down and got on with the football game again.
See, you sound almost, I don't know, I mean, it's not human. It's not, I mean, the dedication, the drive, you're so centred on things. Your first season at Bradford Northern there, you were the top points and try scorer as well. It's all too good to be true, isn't it?
Well, I think one of the things with probably Ellery Hanley was the fact that I had a drive always, and I always had a drive to be successful, because I knew that whoever I played against, there was 2-3 players who wanted to step all over me. I knew I had to pick myself up and get on top of those players. And the desire was there every single week, and I think the desire came from the fact that I enjoyed what I did, and I enjoyed it to the maximum. And defeat, as I said to you, never ever entered my mind.
So if you were selling double glazing or cars or working in an office or a factory, would that be the same Ellery Hanley? You would want to be top dog? Yeah,
absolutely. I adopt that in life. Whatever I may do, whether I'm playing tiddlywinks or whether I'm playing a game of chess or a game of squash, I always want to make sure that I'm successful at that game and that I play to the best of my ability. Probably people misread me at times in the fact that I had some sort of arrogance about me, but it wasn't. Ellery Hanley is definitely not arrogant. I just knew that I had a burning desire and a drive to be successful and do well.
To Hanley. Oh, he's still going. Yes, he must be in. He's in. The strength of this lad. People call this boy Hanley the Pelé of British Rugby League. He's so unpredictable. He can score out of nothing. And he did do that. Brings fresh heart into this Great Britain crowd.
What did your mum and dad make of this, or the rest of your family? Could they tell that you were different?
I don't think they did, really. I think it was something what I always held within myself, in the fact that when I always went to a sporting arena, whether I was playing soccer or whether I was playing rugby league, I always had this desire. I seemed to change just to the sense that I knew once I pulled on the jersey, or whether it was at training, I wanted to be successful, whether it was winning the first 20-metre sprint or whether it was doing the long distance run. I just knew I wanted to be first.
Part of that drive must have been the move from Bradford Northern to Wigan. It was a record fee at the time, £150,000. I suspect, talking to you now as I do, with many people that would be a bit of a millstone or something they felt they had to live up to. I suspect, no, with you it was just
not
the next
at all.
stage.
First of all, I didn't put that price on my head. That was the market value for me at that particular time. It never changed my concept as far as playing was concerned. It never put any pressure on me. Pressure is something I always believe that you bring on yourself and you put on yourself. I've never felt any pressure, whether I've played in front of 200 people or whether I've played in front of 50,000 people.
Case looking to offload to Hanley. Hanley is going for the post. Is he in? Yes! No, yes he is! Hanley's there! That's why he's valued at £150,000.
Can you get that message across to your players now as a coach, or does that have to be within them from the start?
No, I think as a coach, as I said to you, one thing you've got to know about your players, you've got to know the personnel of the players, and your man management's got to be good. You've got to know the player's feelings inside, how he feels before games, how he feels during the course of a build-up of a big game or even a mediocre game. And the player's got to understand that when he takes his duty and he goes onto the football field and even at training, the intensity level has got to be absolutely sky high. There's no good rolling up to a football game and thinking, well, I'll just go through the motions. First of all, he lets himself down and is being dishonourable to the spectators and to his teammates as well.
Warrington's second rows had this skipper, number 11, led by example. Hanley, dummies one way, is he over? Yes, he is! Ellery Hanley, the world's greatest rugby league player, dummies in to play the ball.
I wonder, you being who you are, a god within rugby league, is it intimidating to play under you?
I don't think so at all. I think that I'm very approachable in the sense that my door's open to any player or any person. I could be walking in the street wherever or in a different country and I'll speak to anybody, and I think that it's probably the wrong perception of people thinking that Ellery might be a little bit aloof, but he's not at all. It's just the fact, it's just the way I am. I just expect the best from my players, and I expect the players to adhere to what my instructions are and to perform to the best of their ability. I can accept failure only if I know that the players have put maximum effort in. If they're prepared well and they've given the maximum for that particular game, I can accept that. What I can't accept is a lack of preparation and effort from players.
What about Ellery's a genius? How on earth am I going to live up to that?
I don't think that's a problem at all, because we all have our different ways of dealing with things, and I think that players have different standards completely as far as playing standards are concerned, and people have different facets as far as players are concerned as well. And I think, as I said, just to go over what I said, I think that we all have different levels in life, in sport, or whether we're in politics, or whether we're in sales, or whatever it is. But I think what's important is that we all put the preparation in and the effort in.
Yeah. Well, you certainly repaid that £150,000 price tag within a short space of time with Wigan, 63 tries, I think, in that first season. The Great Britain call came in 1984. That must have been a bit of a thrill.
I'm sure at that particular time I probably enjoyed the game, and I was thrilled to get the call up. But to be quite honest, it's a very distant memory.
Lucky for Australia that. But England running with plenty of purpose now. Out it comes for Hume. They get it on to Ellery Hanley. Heading for the corner, Hanley. He'll score!
But nevertheless, you did make the history books on a number of fronts, and one of them was being the first black player to captain Great Britain. And there is a sense of achievement, obviously, that goes with that. Or is it disappointment that it took so long for a black person to captain Great Britain?
Well, one of the first things I must say, Eamon, colour, creed, culture, wherever a person's from, it doesn't concern me whether a person's black, white, yellow. I've never ever thought of it in that way. I've thought of myself as a sportsman, and that's been my number one thought. That shouldn't concern anybody where I'm from or what I do. What should concern people is that I put maximum effort in and that my preparation's correct.
Oh, and that's a better ball to David Stevenson now. He'll be looking for support to Hanley. Is it his 12th try of the season? It is. Copybook support play from a loose forward.
It's amazing talking to you. Everything is forward thinking and it's positive. Right, so let's find out what your weaknesses are. What were you not good at?
Probably a number of things, really. Probably I was a late arrival into the sort of like computer world, really, now. And but now
that irritates you now, does it?
Well, it doesn't so much really irritate me now, other than the fact that I go to class now, and I've started to teach myself about computers, and because it's the way forward. But it's something in life. I think that we all have goals and we all have dreams. I think that one of the things I want to actually do is make sure that I achieve all my goals and my dreams.
See, there you go. You're being positive again. Did somebody teach you this, or is this you?
No, I think this is just me. I don't think it came from anybody in particular. One of the things what's happened over the period of time as a player, and obviously as a coach as well now at St Helens, I think what's particularly happened is that I've collected a mass amount of information from different coaches, negative and pluses as well, from coaches. I've logged them down, I've wrote them all down. There's been some great coaches I've been under, and there's been some coaches who have just been mediocre. But at the same time, I've learned from those mediocre coaches some of the things that they've done wrong. I certainly won't step into their shoes and do those things wrong.
Now, I know you say the events come and go, but the events don't get much bigger than the Challenge Cup final. 3 successive ones and 3 successive wins with Wigan. Surely there must have been hairs on the back of the neck standing up there.
Well, people sometimes think that I'm quite cold and efficient in what I do as far as rugby league is concerned. But I think, as I said to you, one of the things with me, Challenge Cups, there was always a new challenge around the corner, and as soon as I finished that particular game, I was already mentally preparing for the next game and the next challenge. And that's how life has been for me throughout my playing career. I think to be successful, I think that players, you have to adopt the attitude. Once you slip into and you go down the path of thinking to yourself, well, okay, I've achieved something here, you start to forget exactly what's ahead of you. And that's one of the things I never ever wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I was always prepared. And one of the things I always wanted to do, whether the spectators loved me or hated me, I wanted to make sure that as soon as I went on the football field, I knew that I'd played to the maximum and I gave myself the best preparation possible.
Hanley inside him. He's going all the way. What a try! That must be one of the all-time great tries in Wembley. Cap. Edwards noticed launching Hanley from out wide. He's here again. He's going to go himself. He does. Oh, straight through 3 tackles. What a player is this man? When he won the Lance Todd, he's got Hanley inside him. He's going all the way. What a try from Ellery Hanley! A record-breaking 3rd consecutive Silk Cup Challenge Cup, and possibly the world's greatest player to receive it. And there it goes. 30,000 Wigan fans salute him.
When you look back at the career, was there anything that stood out, any match that even today you say, that's where it was at?
That's a very difficult question, and I'd probably have to answer that question as a no, really. Just simply because, as I said, there's been that great many sporting excitements through my personal career.
But then, let me ask you this. You've played for many clubs, right? Many varied clubs. Is there a favourite club? Was there an allegiance to a club or a set of supporters, or was the allegiance to Ellery Hanley, doing the best for Ellery Hanley?
The latter would be absolutely correct. I think wherever I went, when I even started at Bradford Northern, and then I moved on to Wigan, and then went to Balmain, and then went to Leeds. Well, to be quite honest, I always thought to myself, I have to perform to the maximum for whomever I'm with, and I always adopted that attitude just from the sense that I knew that I had no allegiances towards any particular team other than the team I was playing for at that particular moment in time.
Mm. One of the things, though, moving to Leeds must have done, and it must have featured in the game plan, was to bring you on in the coaching sense, because that was a player coaching role, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But even before I'd started being assistant coach at Leeds, I'd already adopted coaching back in my Wigan days. I'd already started to jog down information from players and also the different coaches I'd been under, the junior coaches, the head coach at the club. And I'd already started to speak to players one-on-one and how to improve their game, right back from the days of when I was at Wigan, when I first started, when I first arrived there. And it set me in a good stall and made me understand about not just myself, but also players as well, and how to develop players and how to get the best and out of the players and how they can respond under different pressure situations.
How did you respond under pressure situation where there you go to Leeds to be on the coaching staff, and you've just won 3 successive Challenge Cup finals with Wigan, right? And then you get there to Leeds, and what do? You lose 2.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you have to be honest in life with yourself, and you must say to yourself, on that particular day and that given time, we got beaten by a better side. And as I said to you, one thing I can accept is failure, because I know on those particular Wembley occasions when I actually arrived at Leeds and turned out for Leeds at Wembley, I knew we were beaten by a better side and a better football side.
Ellery Hanley, he'll receive a tremendous round of applause from the Wigan spectators as well. And Dean Bell giving him a wave. as Betty Boothroyd gives him that runners-up medal and a word of condolence.
You packed in playing, Ellery, at 33 years of age. Do you think now maybe that was just a wee bit too early?
No, not at all. I think one of the things what happens with a sports person, whether you're playing basketball, whether you're playing soccer, or whether you're playing rugby league, or whatever the sport is, you've got to know yourself. And one thing I always knew, I knew my own body, I knew my own mind, I knew exactly what I wanted in life. And as far as actually holding my boots up and saying that was it for me, I knew exactly the time, simply from the fact that I realised I had no more desire in me to actually turn out on the football paddock anymore. Just from the point that I think if a player plays for the wrong reasons, especially rugby league, with it being such a high collision sport, he'll get injured, he'll get hurt, and he'll let himself down, and more so he'll let his teammates down. And that's something I never ever wanted to do. I wanted to be able to walk away from the game. I have no desires to play rugby league again. It's a new chapter for me. I've turned over and now I'm coaching.
See, it strikes me, as supporters, we're all incredibly nostalgic and sentimental. Does sentimentality or nostalgia play a part in your life?
Probably in different things in life, but as far as rugby league is concerned, as far as finishing and quitting at the period of time when I did, it doesn't at all. There's no sentiments there at all, just from the fact that I've finished the game, I've turned over a new leaf. I deal with what's in front of me right now.
How would you react to people who would say, he's a hard-nosed git, that Ellery Hanley?
Well, probably the first thing people should always realise in life, just in general life, is that always remember that we're all built up completely different, and the chemistry in our bodies are completely different from each other. And you must be tolerant of others and be patient with others and respect other people as well. And that's something I always do. I always listen, and I'm always tolerant of other people and realise that some people have special needs and some people you have to have a little bit more patience with. And I think that for the people who probably do think, God, he's a cold sod, it's just that I try to make sure that when I do a job, I do it to the best of my ability and very, very professionally.
And there's no doubt that composition is certainly a lot of what has made you a sporting great. I would also suggest to you, Ellery, that perhaps it was easier for you to give up playing because you had another goal in mind. You wanted to now be a good coach.
Not at all.
Wrong.
you couldn't be further from the truth, really, there. And just from the, well, to answer that question really simply, I gave up playing rugby league not to pursue another career in coaching. I gave up rugby league because I knew Ellery Hanley was finished as a rugby league player. As I said to you, I had no desire.
Then
I had no wish.
Why take on the Great Britain coaching job? Why go to Australia to learn coaching techniques there then?
Well, to be quite honest, at that particular time I was playing still. When I actually took over the Great Britain job, I was still playing. So that did, obviously, I was persuaded by the hierarchy from the rugby league and was asked would I take over the Great Britain duties, and I did so, and I enjoyed it very, very much so. And then I took up a playing contract over in Balmain and obviously picked up a number of tips and wrote them down, because sometime or another I thought to myself maybe and probably more than likely I would become a coach sometime in my life. Probably from the sense that I wanted to give something back to the sport. The sport had given me everything in life, and I could never ever turn my back on the sport. One thing I always want to think to myself is I've gone out there, I've done my best as a player and as a coach, and I've given something back to the sport.
The Western Suburbs Club are promoting Hanley as a commercial enterprise. There's nothing like it in Britain. The club has published this leaflet advertising what their new star can do off the field. It says, above all, Hanley is a businessman who understands that time is money. He would enhance any product or service he promotes or endorses. The fee structure for Hanley's services is negotiable. Hanley used to be known as the Black Pearl in Australia, but thanks to his earnings, he's got a new nickname, Salary Hanley. The Australians think he's a good investment.
Could I ask you, with your experience in Australia, what is the difference and how far apart are the games in the Northern and the Southern Hemisphere?
Well, quite simply, quite a well-known fact is that Australia have a huge amount of pool of players, and if you have a huge amount of pool of players to pick from, the intensity and the level of your football is going to be much, much greater. Here in Great Britain, we've still got a lot of catching up to do because we've got to battle against soccer, we've got to battle against cricket. There's so many different other sports we've got to battle against. In Australia, it's almost like the #1 sport there, and it means it's life and death over there. And that's one of the things that obviously we're trying to aim towards in our long-term goal as far as rugby league is concerned over here in England.
What are your long-term goals now? You're only a guy in his mid-30s now. You've packed in playing. You are coaching away there. Is coaching long-term or not?
No, my only goals are this. Every time I take St Helens out to play the opposition is to be able to look up at the scoreboard and know that I've outscored the opposition, whomever they are. They are my short-term goals, and that's all I'm interested in from week to week.
What do you like to face in the dressing room after a defeat?
I think that probably I take some time, gather my thoughts, and be very careful and choose my words very, very carefully, and address the players in a manner whereby that they know whether I've been disappointed with them, they'll know whether I'm ecstatic with them, and I basically try and sleep over everything for 24 hours and address everything then.
What do you do to escape from rugby league? Is there an Ellery Hanley outside the game?
Yeah, I think everybody in life, especially if you're involved in a high-level sport, in say, for example, my game in rugby league, I think it's important that players do have an outside interest in other things. And one of the interests I take quite seriously, actually, is playing squash. I enjoy playing squash with a number of different people, and it's something that I think that.
Can you play squash for fun? Can
you
lose at squash?
Yeah, I could probably lose, but I'd be very disappointed. I'd be very disappointed with myself if I went into the squash court and I hadn't given someone a battle. And I wouldn't just turn over a game just like that, Eamon, no.
No. You see, again, that's it. So, the sport, is there anything outside sport?
Yeah, I've got different interests. You know, I love reading. I love chess. I love all documentaries, wildlife programs. I love the news. Yeah. Your show too as well is a good show too as well. But yeah, there's a number of different things I enjoy doing. And as I said to you, I think it's very important that everybody in life has different avenues and have different interests in life. Because one of the things what will happen if as far as if you're a sportsman's concerned, if you don't have different interests, you will become stale as a sports person. And I think that's why it's so important to have them.
It has been absolutely fascinating talking to you, Ellery. It's been a great insight into a sporting great and what makes a sporting great tick. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, Eamon.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.